everybody, this is Nate with another Backcountry beer review. Today I hiked up to San Leonardo Lakes in the Pecos Wilderness in northern New Mexico near the town of Truchas. And I came here with some intimations of maybe trying to summit Sheep's Head Peak, which is supposed to be one of the most stunning mountains in New Mexico. But, you know, from where I live south of the mountain, so I look up and I see not much snow in the mountains, but on these northern slopes, there's a little bit more. I knew this was a possibility. It's quite late in the season, but I figured if it's too snowy for me to summit the peak, I could enjoy the lovely winter scene at the lakes. And a winter scene it is indeed. Not quite where it should be at this time of year, but better than where I live, which is closer to 7,000 feet there. You wouldn't be able to tell that it was winter except for how cold it is in the morning. The beer I'm reviewing today is by Lumberyard Brewing Co in Flagstaff, Arizona, and it's a Railhead Red Extra Special Ale. This beer actually won. In 2009, it won the gold medal in the special bitter category at the Great American Beer Festival. And it's a little disappointing. I've noticed this trend that breweries have to kind of rebrand their extra special bitters as ales. Unfortunately, I think, you know, they're worried that people might, I don't know what that was. Probably because they're afraid that the consumer will see it's a bitters beer and say, oh, I don't like bitter beers, I'm gonna try something else. In reality, I don't expect this beer to be particularly bitter. Most bitters beers I've had are less bitter than any run-of-the-mill, off-the-shelf West Coast IPA. But I'm excited to try it. Let's open it up. It's time for a sip. Well, first things first, I'm very happy that I opened this beer and it was still a liquid. I was not sure that would be the case. It is freezing up here. It's got to be in the teens, and as you can tell, I've bundled up a lot more now that I've stopped hiking. I don't have the natural body heat kind of keeping me warm anymore, and my feet are freezing despite the fact that I have 2 layers of socks on. It is cold up here. With that said, this is a great winter cold weather beer because it's so malt forward. I mean, right off the bat, I'm getting very quintessential malt notes. I'm getting toffee, definitely. I'm getting very rich caramel. It's a little bit off dry, like it still retains a little bit of that natural malt sweetness, I think. But it still has a little bit of an edge. I'm getting definitely black pepper notes, and I'm getting this nuttiness and sharpness that's kind of reminiscent to me of like a hard cheese, like Parmesan or Asiago. Not that it tastes like cheese. I don't want to give the impression that this beer has gone bad, but I'm just saying it's the closest thing I can compare it to. The finish, of course, is still very malty, and I'm getting a little bit of yeastiness. I'm getting a little bit of black pepper, which tells me that that spice note is probably coming a little bit from the yeast. I don't know if I'm necessarily picking up anything from the hops. If I had to assume, I didn't do the research beforehand, I'd assume that this is using like classic English hops, like Fuggles or something. And so, you know, that just gives it this nice earthiness that sort of isn't super pronounced, but is very good. Ultimately, a very delicious beer, like I said, perfect for this kind of weather. But maybe you might want one that's 10 degrees warmer. This is probably near freezing. On that note, cheers, and have a backcountry beer for me. So you almost definitely can't see them. Right by this tree right here to the right, there are a pair of what I'm pretty sure are bighorn sheep chasing each other around. You can actually see the white butt of the one right to the left, right to the right, I mean, of the tree. Oh, see, it just moved. I think that they might be mating. I saw one kind of get up on its hind legs right next to the other, so very interesting.